Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fishbowl Tales. If you hadn't guessed it by the intro, this week's episode is going to be a project overview, tour, and a history lesson on my bus. This is my 1969 TDH 3301 New Look bus. It is one of 113 GM TDH 3301s produced, and it was originally delivered to Chinook Transportation in Tacoma, Washington. Now, I couldn't find anything else about its Washington history beyond that, but I was able to dig up a little more information on the past life of this bus. So there were three things that we found over the course of our build that led us to believe that this bus served a portion of its life in Sonoma County, California. The most obvious was the Sonoma County crest that's in the curbside window. The second, if you're from Northern California, you might notice that this bus is actually painted in Sonoma County Transit livery. The third thing that we found was that this bus was registered as a 1980, and it's not. But Sonoma County Transit was formed in 1980. Given those three factors, we know that our bus served some portion of its life in Sonoma County, California. At some point in its lifetime, the original GM Toraflow diesel engine was removed, and it was repowered with a Detroit Diesel 6V53. This engine remained in the bus until the summer of 2019, when a catastrophic failure led to its removal. That series of events led to this bus's second repower, in the form of a Cummins ISB 5.9-liter 24-valve diesel engine, which is backed up by an Allison 3000 MH transmission. Let's head back to the front of the bus, and I'll tell you a little bit about why this bus is called the Fishbowl. GM New Look buses sport the nickname Fishbowl. Now, why is that? Well, back in the 1960s, when drivers were running these buses around town, the large front windshield made them feel as if they were driving a fishbowl. This shines a little bit of light onto the origins of our channel name and why these are the Fishbowl Tales, or the stories of our bus. I purchased this bus in the fall of 2017. The previous owners had owned this bus for the past 7 years, and they were using it as sort of a bus conversion project. The interior was about halfway completed, and rumor has it, the previous owner before them had actually lived inside of this thing, which was kind of scary to believe given the state of the inside of it, but I believe him. Welcome to the interior of our bus. Most everything in here has been roughed in, but none of it's actually really complete. And to be honest with you, it's been about 2 years since I've actually touched the inside of this bus. It's turned into sort of a storage unit for all of its future parts. So the last area in the interior of the bus that I actually spent any time working on was this underbed storage area. I actually shifted the firewall forward into the bus an extra 6 inches to make up for the added length of the 5.9 Cummins. Prior to that, the big interior project that I was undertaking was actually the countertops, and I really screwed up in that department. I decided to make the countertops out of 3/4 inch pine hobby board, and if you know anything about the quality of hobby board, it's just not great at all. But it was cheap, and it was easy, and it came in a big sheet, and it was, nicer looking than most plywood. So I said, screw it. We'll go ahead and try that out, and it was an epic fail. So what ended up happening, I purchased the material, and I left it outside of the bus. And that night it frickin' downpoured everywhere, soaked all the wood, and I didn't let it dry long enough. So I started assembling all of the countertops and piecing everything together. And after the bus broke down, it sat up here at our shop in northern Nevada in 100-degree weather in the middle of June. And all of the water evaporated out of it, and they just potato chipped. They all just turned into big giant banana countertops. So all of it's gonna have to be redone. It was a good effort, but it's not gonna work long term. And I'd like to see something a little bit nicer in here anyway. So yeah, it all works out in the end. In the bedroom, we opted for kind of a unique design of this bed. In most of the rear engine buses that I've ever seen, the engine bay actually protrudes into the interior a little ways, and ours is no different. So there's about, I would guess, 2 feet or so of the engine bay that actually sticks out underneath the bed into the living space. And that was actually by my design, because I redid this whole firewall area and actually stuck everything out back this way farther than it was from the factory. Up on top of the bed here, we've actually got storage space down underneath where the mattress will be. And the whole mattress will lift up on this platform here that is on 2 gas struts. So it'll be nice and easy to lift up, and there's tons of storage space down underneath there for all of our clothing. In our bus, we actually decided to go with a full floor-to-ceiling tile shower. Now at the time when we built this, it was kind of unorthodox to see a tiled shower in a bus. But we've seen so many success stories from people that are already living on the road with a tiled shower that we said, hey, we might as well go with it, and if we have any problems down the road, we can address it. Down on the floor and on the seat, we went with kind of like a river stone type of tile situation, and we've got this big long drain in the floor. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what they're called, but it's a pretty nice addition. It makes things look really fancy. Now ignore the god-awful caulking situation back in the corner of the shower. I was not having any luck with it, but it will get addressed at a later date. In our kitchen, we went with a under-counter style apartment fridge. It's actually a fridge and a freezer. Take a look inside. There's the freezer section. It's actually really spacious in there. And in the fridge side, it's got a nice couple of door racks there that are adjustable, tons of space to put stuff. And the inside is actually pretty large, surprisingly. Up over here, we have our cooktop. This is a Furrion 3-burner stainless steel cooktop. It is propane, and it's actually got an igniter built in. This stovetop rather, is complete with bugs and wood dust and 2 years of sitting doing nothing. Over here we have the sink with a nice view out the side window and plenty of prep space over here. Moving back a little ways, we've actually got 3 drawers that go in here. They're all complete already. This will be sort of our workspace on the road. A nice spot to sit down, a couple of chairs, and work on our computers. Right now it is storage. If you didn't think it could get any better than that, this side of the bus is even worse. I've got propane tanks, sheet metal, side doors of the engine bay, and just totes full of crap over here. Back in this space, we actually have a medicine cabinet that we recessed into the wall a little ways, and down here is a standard house-style toilet, which I think we're going to get rid of in exchange for a Nature's Head composting toilet. Now, we don't have a Nature's Head composting toilet at the moment, but that is our plan. So Kyra picked out these really nice little pieces of stained glass that she found at one of our local stores, and they just look awesome in this little wall, and they provide a little bit of natural light coming through this bathroom space. So moving back into the kitchen area, this is the space underneath our stove. You can see we've got tons of space down underneath there for pots and pans and the whole lot. There is an outlet that I've wired in underneath there for, various appliances, and I'm going to put some sort of an opening up top so we can plug things in, or just wire it maybe to a gang box up there. There's also a chase down underneath there for the propane hose for the stove. The space up above our stove is definitely going to change. You can see that some of the window rubber in here has been failing, and every rain and snowstorm we've had, there's been water leaking into the bus. That area is not horrible. You can see there's a gap all the way outside to daylight. And on this side where we've got some wood filler, it's just cracked right off the wall. And this section of wood is just too far gone, I think, at this point. It's pretty bad. So I think what I'm going to do with this section is just build a set of cabinets up top so we have some extra storage space, because we really don't have a lot of space for dry goods in here. If we're in the kitchen and we want breakfast cereal or canned goods, this is the only storage space we have for that, up here above the sink. And it's big, but I don't think it's big enough for everything that we're going to need when we're traveling. In the back we have some extra cabinet space down under this kind of vanity counter. On this side we had actually planned to use this open cubby back here as a laundry hamper and build a couple of lids over the top of it so we could access all of that and keep it out of the way and off the floor. Down underneath here we have two big drawers that fit into this space, and on the other side we have two drawers on each side of like an open cabinet space here. And I actually have all of the cabinet doors and drawers complete and primered already for all of this space. I just have not taken the time to finish them and get them back in here, especially since the interior design might change a little bit. I'm not completely sold on the fact that they're permanent right now. Okay, so now that you've seen our bus up to this point, what are our future goals and aspirations? What do we plan on doing with this thing once it's complete? Well, eventually, down the road, once this thing is completely livable, we hope to live off-grid full-time in it. I think that would be just a dream lifestyle, and this is the stepping stone to get there. So, what are our short-term goals for it? Well, my short-term goal personally is to get the thing running and driving. There is a lot of work that still needs to be done in the engine bay on our repower. I need to finish wiring the engine and transmission. I need to finish plumbing everything. There's still a lot of fabrication that needs to take place. And last but not least, like the finishing touch in that engine bay is going to be mounting the condenser for a mini split unit opposite the radiator in the engine bay. So it'll be on the other side, and we'll duct it exactly the same way as the radiator is. Once that's complete, we're going to move on to the roof deck. So I want to build a roof rack that is the full length of the bus, so 29 feet of roof rack. The back portion of it is going to be like a hangout spot, our roof deck, where we can go up and eat breakfast and hang out and enjoy it, The front section is going to be all of our solar. So I have 10 100-watt panels that are going to be going basically right up here above the driver's section, probably about halfway down the bus. Once that's all completed, then we can finally close up the roof that's inside of here, or ceiling, however. So the ceiling is not up only because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to mount the roof deck. Now, I've tossed around the idea of drilling some of the rivets out of the ribs and actually solid riveting the deck up to the roof, or drilling out the rivets and putting a nutsert in so we can nutsert the deck to the roof. I think that would be a better option. I really don't know what the chances are of us ever having to remove it once it's up there, but you gotta plan for the future. I'm not sure what's ever gonna happen to it. So, once the roof deck is complete, then we can move underneath the bus. We've got a storage bay under there that was not there from the factory. So I need to go through and kind of redesign it, weld it better, build it out of stronger materials, and fix the doors that somebody cut into the side of the bus because they just look awful. Once the underbay storage area is complete, then we can get water tanks in, we can get our batteries and our power inverter and all of that stuff installed, and we can actually start testing the systems in the bus. We can do all of our house electrical, we can do all of our plumbing, and we can make sure all of it works. Once that's done, then we can finish all of the paint work, we can do all of our finished carpentry, we can finish caulking the bathroom so it doesn't look as bad as it does right now, and then we can move in. I don't know what the time frame on that looks like. I'm guessing probably another year, because this project has been completely nights and weekends. Me and Kyra both work full time, so it's just been hard to juggle everything that's been going on with this project. So I hope to be able to dedicate a little bit more time to it in the future, and hope to see a little bit more progress on it all. But that's it, you guys. That is my update and tour of the bus, a little bit of back history. You got a little bit of everything this week, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week.